everyone, so today we are going to be talking about Percy Jackson, the book, versus the TV show. Now, I read these books a long time ago. I've done rereads every year. It's probably the series I've read the most out of anything I've ever reread. So let's talk about the first thing that caught my attention. So in the book, Graver is always described as wearing long pants to cover his legs because the embraces because he's disabled is what Percy thinks. In reality, he's a satyr. He has goat legs. In the first scene in the movie where Grover is really shown, he has on shorts. Shorts. This is a travesty and shouldn't have been overlooked. Sorry, it shouldn't. The next big thing I have a problem with is the fight with Mrs. Dobbs. Now, in the book, we get kind of this epic battle between Percy and Mrs. Dobbs. It's not quick. I mean, it is quick, but it's not quick. Percy fights. They fight. They have a brawl. And this is the first time we see Percy's awesomeness. And in the movie, we just kind of get an accidental stab. Not a big fight. Just an accidental. And Riptide seems to have more of a mind of its own, which I'm not liking, because Riptide is a sword. Just a pen, a sword. And it doesn't magically just turn into a sword when monsters are near you. Percy has to actually uncap it to turn it into the sword. And like I said, I get why they are changing these adaptations. I am just here to point out the difference, because we are about to get an influx of fans that have not read the books. And they're going to see the books and want to read them and be like, this is different. And I can tell you why they're different, because a lot of the stuff that happens in these books, while would be epic, would not translate well into a children's show. Like Smelly Gabe would not translate into a children's show. He's very abusive, very toxic. Something not a lot of parents are going to want their kids to see what he does. My next kind of issue I have with the show, there's several, but I'm just tackling the big ones in this video. Gabe has hair. Now, I get kind of why they did this, but I always picture Gabe bald with just a few little hairs combed over. He has hair almost as long as mine in the show, and he is described more as whipped in the show, but I get why they are doing that. If you put this aggressive abuser in this show, that's going to be traumatic for some kids, and a lot of parents are not going to want their children to watch that. Because he is very, very abusive, and we don't see the full extent of the abuse in the books, but they would have to show that in the movie, in the show, because he is not a good person at all. Now, let's talk about the fight with the Minotaur. Now, this was perfect. The Minotaur looked just like I pictured him in the books, right down to the tighty-whitey underwear. The way he took Sally, perfect. She turned into the little sparks. And I loved that. The Minotaur was perfect. And the fight was awesome. We finally got to see Percy be epic. Because Percy is epic. And he's only supposed to get epicer. And in his head, what we're used to seeing, we're not going to see that. Because all the books are told from Percy's perspective. Well, not all of the books, but you know what I mean. And in Percy's mind, it's run, 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 I hope I don't die. And when we get to the character in other perspectives, Percy is the epitome of awesome. He's running through monsters. He's killing crowds of them. He's demolishing things. But in his head, he's like, ah, tornado! I made a tornado! This is the Percy we know and love. And we're about to see the epic Percy, not the Percy we are used to seeing, because we are seeing things from his perspective. And in a TV show, you get your own perspective. So we are about to be able to interpret Percy with our own eyes, more so than we already can.